Drawings of world-famous fairy tales in the style of Salvador Dali. Little Red Riding Hood. A girl named Little Red Riding Hood encounters a talking wolf while walking through the forest to her grandmother, who cunningly leads her and her grandmother into a trap. Whether they are ultimately rescued remains to be seen. The Wolf and the 7 Little Goats. A mother goat leaves her 7 young kids alone at home with a warning not to open the door to the wolf, after which a cunning wolf disguises himself to catch them. How would this end? Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. A beautiful princess named Snow White flees from her jealous stepmother, the evil queen, and finds shelter with 7 dwarfs in a small cottage in the forest. Cinderella. A kind girl is treated as a maid by her stepmother and stepsisters, but unexpectedly gets the chance to go to a royal ball. Rumpelstiltskin. A miller's daughter must spin straw into gold for a king, but receives unexpected help from a small, mysterious little man who demands a heavy price. Tom Thumb. The smallest boy of a poor family uses his cleverness and tiny size to save himself and his brothers when their parents abandon them in the forest. Hansel and Gretel. A brother and sister are abandoned in the forest by their poor parents and discover a little house made of gingerbread and candy there, inhabited by a mysterious old lady. Sleeping Beauty. A princess is cursed by an evil fairy to prick herself on a spinning wheel on her 16th birthday and fall into a deep sleep, after which the entire castle is plunged into sleep. The Little Mermaid. A young mermaid trades her voice and her life underwater for a chance to get legs and live on dry land, because she has fallen in love with a human prince. Pinocchio. A wooden doll made by an old woodcarver comes to life and must learn to be honest, brave, and selfless if he wants to become a real boy. The Bremen Town Musicians. An old donkey, dog, cat, and rooster are sent away by their owners and decide to go to Bremen together to earn a living as street musicians. The Frog King or Iron Henry. A princess loses her golden ball in a well, after which a frog promises to bring the ball back if she accepts him as her companion from now on. The 6 Servants. On his way to the castle of a wicked queen, a prince gathers 6 extraordinary men, each with a unique gift, to complete together the 3 impossible tasks that will separate him from the princess. The Brave Little Tailor. A tailor kills 7 flies at once, declares himself a hero, and sets out to conquer the world using only his cleverness. Rapunzel. A girl with enchantingly long hair is locked up by a witch in a tall tower without a door or stairs, and her only contact with the outside world is through her downcast golden locks. The Wishing Table, the Gold Ass, and the Cudgel in the Sack. A tailor sends his 3 sons out into the wide world, after which they each acquire a magical object, a table that sets itself, a donkey that spits gold, and a club that single-handedly deals with robbers. Mother Holly. A girl ends up with a mysterious old woman in another world and is richly rewarded with a golden shower after her work. Whether that brings her good fortune or misfortune depends on her own actions. The Nix of the Millpond. A miller enters into an ill-considered agreement with a water nymph who promises him wealth in exchange for the first thing born in his house, after which his newborn son bears the consequences for the rest of his life. Queen Bee. 3 princes go on an adventure, but only the youngest, who saves a queen bee from drowning, later receives unexpected help from his winged girlfriends. All Kinds of Fur. A princess flees from her father, who wants to marry her, in a rough cloak of donkey fur and works as a kitchen maid in another kingdom, while she drapes herself in 3 beautiful magic dresses at balls. The Princess and the Pea. A prince wants to marry a real princess but cannot find one, until one evening a girl knocks at the gate claiming to be a real princess. she is put to the test by a pea. The red shoes. A poor girl is adopted by a rich woman and becomes so obsessed with a pair of red shoes that she keeps wearing them, until a mysterious soldier curses them. The Snow Queen. A boy is taken away by the ice-cold Snow Queen, after which his girlfriend Gerda undertakes a long and dangerous journey to find him. The Tinderbox. A soldier receives a magical tinderbox from a witch, with which he can summon 3 enormous dogs, and uses it to acquire wealth and a beautiful princess. The Ugly Duckling. A young duckling is rejected by all the animals on the farm because it looks very different from the others, and sets off alone into the wide world in search of a place where it will be accepted. The Little Match Girl. A poor girl tries to sell matches on the street on New Year's Eve but dares not return home for fear of her angry father, whereupon she lights her last matches in the cold night to warm herself with warm visions. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. A one-legged tin soldier falls in love with a paper dancer and experiences a series of adventures after accidentally falling out of the window and being sent along on a dangerous journey by a boy in a paper boat. Thumbelina. A tiny girl is born from a flower, kidnapped by a toad, helped by a fish and a bird, and eventually ends up with a field mouse who wants to marry her off to a mole. The Sandman. The Sandman is a gnome who sprinkles sleep sand in children's eyes late at night, after which he uses his umbrellas to ensure beautiful dreams or, conversely, a dreamless night. Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. A poor boy is persuaded by a wizard to retrieve a magic lamp from a dangerous cave, after which he discovers that a powerful genie resides inside the lamp who can grant all his wishes. Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. Ali Baba discovers a robber's lair with the magic words "Open Sesame," but when the robbers miss their loot, they plot revenge. Sinbad the Sailor. An adventurous sailor recounts his 7 miraculous voyages, in which he is shipwrecked each time, is killed by giant birds, encounters snakes, and comes face to face with the Old Man of the Sea. Mother Goose. Mother Goose is a legendary figure, often depicted as an old woman riding a goose, and is known as the narrator of countless famous nursery rhymes, fairy tales, and lullabies. Bluebeard. A rich but terrifying man with a blue beard marries a young woman and gives her all the keys to the castle, with the warning that she must never open one particular room. Puss in Boots. The youngest son of a poor miller inherits nothing but a cat, but that cat turns out to be extraordinarily clever and promises him wealth if he gives him a pair of boots and follows his instructions. The Gnome. Stuart de Bolt, a man with a hunchback, meets gnomes during an evening walk. He teaches them to finish a song and is rewarded with a straight back. The Magic Bottle. A poor farmer receives a magic bottle from a dwarf that brings him wealth, but his landlord also wants a share in the good fortune. The 3 Little Pigs. 3 little pigs each build their own house, but a wolf tries to outsmart all 3 of them by blowing their houses down. Father Frost. A kind girl is abandoned in the bitter cold by her wicked stepmother, after which she meets the mysterious Father Frost, who rewards her richly for her courteous answers. Beauty and the Beast. Belle takes her father's place as a prisoner of a terrifying beast, but learns in his enchanted castle that true beauty comes from within. The Indian Water Lilies. An ugly witch, out of jealousy, turns dancing star children into water lilies that only bloom in the moonlight. Thanks for watching and see you next time.